So Carrie was a working girl. I mean, we had boots and like it was basically like boots and flannels and coats. And she was outside a lot, so coats and hats and scarves. She was working, in the barn and doing things. So it was really fun to kind of put once I put the boots on and like I had this really nice red puffer, I just felt like the boss. So that was a good boss lady wardrobe. I loved it. I loved it. And who doesn't love flannel and jeans? I mean, it was just so comfy.
Welcome to Survive the Shows.
Welcome everyone to this exciting interview segment. I'm Desiree, and today at Survival Shows, we have the pleasure of sitting down with Brianna Cohen, star of two of UPtv movies of this year, A Royal Christmas Manor and Saving the Christmas Rent. Join us as we dive into Brianna's insight into her characters and the challenges of filming these movies. Thank you for being here, Brianna.
Thanks for having me, Desiree. It's always a pleasure.
For me too. So, let's talk about Saving the Christmas Rent. What first drew you to the role in this movie, and how did you envision the character when you read the script?
So Saving the Christmas Ranch was a really, really cute script written by Lori Carnavaro, who I've done a few of her works before, of her films, and it was just the writing was so funny. It was so quick, the jokes. And Carrie is such like a spitfire, such a fun character. She's really feisty. She runs this ranch all on her own. And she falls in love with this, kind of hotshot city developer who's trying to buy it from her. And John Stoddard was cast opposite me. And I just knew that this was going to be such a fun experience with the script and the cast. It was just kind of a no-brainer for me.
And how did you prepare physically and emotionally for the ranch setting? And did you ride horses or learn any ranch skills for the part?
That's a great question. So, I mean, emotionally and physically, we, so funny enough, we were filming in Ohio. I think it was 2024, January 2024. And we got caught in a blizzard. It was so cold that week in Ohio. It was like -8 or something. And we had scenes outside. So I remember telling the costumer, I was just like, let's just put me in layers. I don't even care how I look at this point. We were just with, like this the whole time, getting our lines in between like teeth chatters. But so we didn't prepare for the blizzard. The weather was crazy, and we were all huddled kind of into this. We had limited locations for this because we were shooting on a very tight schedule. So we were kind of at this campground where people go for retreats, and they had yurts, and we had like space heaters, and we were all bundled up together. And we didn't have much time to prepare, actually. So I remember one day, funny story, we show up to work, 7 a.m. or something, and I had prepared a whole day of shooting that we'd got the day before, but we wanted snow, and we didn't get snow or something with the location where they got messed up, and they came in and they said, okay, we're switching, we're doing tomorrow today. And of course, I had 15 pages of dialogue and like a 3-page monologue. There's this really great scene at the end where we have like our final Christmas auction, to save everything. So it wasn't like a easy scene either. It was a big one, the finale. And, he didn't have any lines, actually, many. It was like kind of all my day. So he's like kind of laughing at me, taking a nap while I'm like getting it down. But we did it, and it was great. We had so many extras, actually show up. We were so happy because the weather was so crazy. So thank you so much to everybody out there where we were filming. There was such support.
Amazing. And the movie centers on community and tradition. Which scene do you feel best captures those themes, and why?
Yeah, so I guess I'll talk again, I mean, about this auction scene. So in the story, Carrie, I think Carrie Williams is her name. In the story, Carrie runs this ranch, right? That's a hotel and a ranch in the country, and it was started by her family. She grew up on the ranch, and her grandparents are still there. Her parents are no longer there, but she's carrying this tradition on, and everybody in town, supports her. She's got her best friend and like assistant right hand lady, by her side, and she really cares about tradition. She doesn't want to let this, sell it to a developer and have them kind of bulldoze it. It's about the community. And like I said, we had just, sort of this movie magic moment where we had this crazy blizzard. It was so cold, but we had extras come out in droves. Like, I think we had 25 people or something that came, and they filled up, this hall for us. And we had this auction scene, and we had the great, finale at the end with the kiss with me and John. And it was just really nice. And I got a little choked up, and so did some of the people in the audience. And it was just one of those, fun movie moments that reflected real life as well.
Yeah. And during the set of Christmas, Saving the Christmas Ranch, was there something that surprised you creatively? Something that changed the way you played the role?
Oh, well, so in the script, we were supposed to have reindeer in the barn, which would have been so cool, right? But we had found out then that at whatever time this was, again in January, the poor reindeer, they go through like a molting phase where they're losing the fur, I guess you call it, on their antlers. So they look not camera ready. There was like hanging stuff and blood, and they said we can't do this. So they said, what, we're going to try to do it in post, which is in movie language, like, recipe for a disaster. But they said, okay, we might do a CGI reindeer. So just talk to, the barn, the empty barn, like you're talking to the reindeer. And we just had a lot of fun. I mean, you have to do that oftentimes where you talk to someone who's not really there. But this was just, we all had a laugh about it. And yeah.
Yeah. And
And I guess I can also say really quick,
yeah.
I guess, I like to talk. Um, because we were shooting on such a short schedule, and it was comedy and it was quick and there was a lot of lines to learn. John and I, it was great that we had already kind of had a working dialogue because we had done so many films together, that we were able to just run lines as much as we could, and really just like kind of spit out the dialogue quick, because comedy is about timing. And I think a lot of time it would just, now I carry that with me every time I'm on set, where I'm just like, it's not a scene, it's a conversation. Let's just really go off each other's cues, which is what you're supposed to do. But we were able to like really get kind of a like a crash course in that for this show.
Great. And how did you find this chemistry with your on-screen family and partners? Can you share an example of a scene where that chemistry made the moment work?
Yes. So I I had a great grandma and grandpa that were cast, and a great assistant. So I had a great so actually, as this script was written, Carrie has a really tight knit group of people around her. She's got her best friend and assistant, Hannah, I believe her name was, and she's played by Kirby Schwarber, who I've worked with again. And she's so cool. She's so fun. And then Nina Serbog and George Hildebrand was our grandpa. And he dressed up, they dressed up as Mr. and Mrs. Claus. And, of course, you get in your costume and you're just walking around all day in this cute outfit. So we're eating in the mess hall, of this camp that we were. We've got Mrs. Claus and Mr. Claus and our elves, there. And it was really fun. It was a lot of joking around and a lot of playing.
Yeah. And were there any surprising, challenging working outdoors or on locations? And how did you adapt?
Yeah, so as I said, it was so cold. I mean, we were in layers upon layers. We were shivering, holding each other. Thank goodness, like our makeup artist was so amazing. She'd come and like, fix our nose that was, red or running, things like that. And of course, our director, Kevin, anytime we had a chance to get warm, he let us. But I learned what Gaga Ball was for the first time, which is the kids' game. We had to kind of think fast and change it. And we had all these outdoor activities one day that it was like 10 degrees out. So we really had to keep warm and keep the spirits up. But we got through it and it was really fun. And it ended up looking actually so cute.
Great. And did you collaborate with the director on the character backstory or specific bits? And
Ooh.
if so, what was one piece of direction that stuck with you?
Yeah, so I believe Kevin and Lori, I believe, I could be wrong, but I think that they collaborated a little bit on the script. And there is a moment, a very funny moment where like Carrie gets caught off guard by John, who comes in, and she puts on like this Irish accent, and she kind of just tries to make like a diversion to get out of his grips. And I think I think I surprised Kevin with my comedic chops because we ran it a bunch of different times and it was just a lot of fun and he had this idea of how it was supposed to be and we tried it a few different ways and it was just funny and silly and you don't always have the opportunity in these movies. I've done a lot of thrillers where you just get to be really silly, so that was fun.
Great. So, costume and wardrobe can shape a character. How did the wardrobe for this movie influence the choices you made in performance?
For Carrie.
Yeah.
Okay. So Carrie was a working girl. I mean, we had boots and like it was basically like boots and flannels and coats. And she was outside a lot, so coats and hats and scarves. She was working, in the barn and doing things. So it was really fun to kind of put once I put the boots on and like I had this really nice red puffer, I just felt like the boss. So that was a good boss lady wardrobe. I loved it. I loved it. And who doesn't love flannel and jeans? I mean, it was just so comfy.
Yeah, exactly.
And I had
And
wool, or what was it? They gave me fur-lined jeans because it was so cold. I had leggings and then like fur-lined ski jeans.
it was really, really cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. And which prop or location on the ranch became your favorite? And did it affect any improvised moment?
Oh yeah. So we filmed Saving the Christmas Ranch on this campground in Ohio, and they had as like lodges for people to stay. They had these yurts, right? And the yurts actually were so cute on the inside. They were like super Pinterested out, and our set designer and our props like kind of then Christmafy them all, if that's a word. So the lighting was gorgeous and warm, and so it felt like this really like cool, dreamy, like glamping like experience when we were shooting in the yurts, and I got to sing a little Christmas carol. You'll see, where I'm like getting ready for bed, and yeah, we improvised like some songs, like like what would Carrie do, like after a long day, like when she's not being boss lady, when she's being her silly self, and that was a lot of fun.
Amazing. And holiday movies often balance sentiment and realism. How did you keep your performance grounded without tipping into melodrama?
That's always difficult on these TV movies, isn't it? No. Um, well, yeah, so that's a really, you always ask such good questions, really, Desiree. I think that this movie and as well the Royal Christmas Manor, they do have the main character is really going through a journey themselves, right? So for Carrie, the cool part is that and they're kind of similar in a way, that she's carrying on this ranch for her family. And like she said, she's trying to uphold the values of, like, of community, of tradition, of Christmas, and, of nature, and kind of living on the land, and living for the community, and not, kind of selling out. And she's trying to carry so much on her back, herself, right? And I'm sure as women and as people in general, we always tend to do that, right? And then she's surprised when she meets John that, he does have a similar vision to her. And so she's able to thaw her heart just a little, um, to let him in, and kind of broaden her idea that she can have everything that she wants. And I think that was just a really nice sentiment. And Laurie, wrote it beautifully, with humor and with tenderness, and um, you know, wit.
Yeah, exactly. And if a scene required working with animals, can you tell us about that experience and any unexpected lessons you learned?
Well, we were supposed to work with these reindeer, but we didn't get them because they were molting. So we didn't actually have, there were horses and cows around, but I don't think we worked with an animal, but it's always fun. I mean, dogs are incredible. You know, um, they're really great. I've worked with dogs before, and they're really great at following commands, and the way that they communicate with their owners is really fun, and also surprising, because they're dogs. It's like working with kids. You never know what's gonna happen, but it always adds some levity to the set.
Yeah, and fans often remembers small cozy details. And were there a tiny on-set moment or prop that you felt captured the movie's art, but viewers might miss on first watch?
Ooh. Well, I'm shy to talk about it. It's so fun. John and I have been friends for years. This is like our fifth, sixth movie together, and we are just friends. And I think, we had this this switch up. Again, I'm going to talk about this final scene. And I don't know, we were laughing because we had to kiss, this like big romantic kiss at the end. And we just, we were laughing and making jokes, and but it came out really nice. And at the end, I think he kind of was like, that was a nice kiss there, girl. And we just laughed about it, and I was like, go home. But I think, we got into the spirit, and it was really nice, and we had all of the, again, all of the actual locals there watching on, and it was just a Christmas movie moment.
Yeah, great. And looking back, is there a performance choices you made in Saving the Christmas Ranch that surprised even you when you saw the final cut?
Yeah, I was surprised. I mean, how much true emotion was really evoked, like, from this auction scene and this monologues. Like, I think the community really, like, we all kind of really got on board with this story, and because we were all kind of doing this together, in this crazy weather, in this short time, and we really banded together. There was a scene. I haven't seen the final cut, but there was a scene with my grandpa, that was just so tender and so beautiful. And, some real funny moments with John too. So I'm actually really looking forward to getting the final cut of this, and seeing, you know, kind of all that we did with such little time, and, you know, the few Christmas decorations we had.
Amazing. So, change of subject, talking about a royal Christmas Manor. What's appealed to you about the character you play, and how is she different from roles you have done before?
Yeah, so Katie in A Royal Christmas Manor um, is was a wonderful character to play. Similar to Carrie, she's also kind of, a very sort of spunky boss. But her costume and her hair, she's a lot girlier. And, she kind of runs this not a ranch, but this hotel. And they kind of specialize in Christmas, and it's the first year that her parents are leaving her to run the hotel herself over Christmas, and she's nervous about it, right? But the most beautiful kind of, like you said, this character story that's underneath it is kind of Katie finding her own footing, being, and her parents knowing, she thinks her parents are testing her, but they knew all along. Of course, she grew up here, she learned from them, everyone loves her, she loves the job. And it's kind of like one of those cliche, you are enough already, Katie. And she meets her prince, and they have a lot of mishaps, but they have a lot of fun. And shooting in Bulgaria was just so cool. We just had like a Christmas wonderland that they built there for us, and it was just a dream.
Great. And royal settings bring a distinct aesthetic. How did performing in a manner period inspired environment affect your posture, speech, or movement on camera?
Yes. So, so so Alexander, played by Kirk Barker,
Yeah.
he plays Prince Alexander, right? And his family and his friends, they filmed, actually, I think it was an actual castle or like home of some royalty in Bulgaria. And it's a gorgeous kind of historical building in the middle of these gorgeous woods. And they kind of filmed there more. I didn't get to as much, but I think that definitely, I mean, with, like I said, the hair and makeup and the elegance and the kind of real beauty of the set design, kind of always, even in the manor, even in the hotel, lent itself to that kind of grandiose, beautiful, royal vibe.
Great. And did you work with a dialect coach or a coach on etiquette to inhabit the royal world? What was the hardest thing to master?
Well, that's a great idea because honestly, well, that's an idea for a sequel now because I I mean, Katie, there is one moment, I don't want to give too much away, but there is a moment where the worlds collide, but
Okay.
really kind of most of the movie is um is Alexander in Katie's more grounded, world. He's trying to be a normal person. But of course, there's lots of, customer service and smiles and you want to, she's in the business of hospitality, so she has, a kind of bright, welcoming demeanor while still kind of keeping it hometown and grounded again.
Great. And which scene in the manor tested your acting chops most? Emotionally, technically, or logistically?
So, um, my love, Richard Switzer, our director and producer, he hired all of these incredible UK actors and American actors and some American actors who work and live in Europe now. So I was really the only American, or one or two American actors on set. So I had these incredible English actors with these fantastic accents, with incredible comedic timing. And we have kind of this big ensemble scene. We had a few actually big ensemble scenes, which can be tricky, for camera and for acting. Um, but we had this kind of comedic moment where again, like I mentioned, the worlds collide for the first time. And I remember we kind of were like trying some physical comedy things that these guys are such pros at, and it was just such an honor to kind of work with them and these incredible actors that I got to work with that I hadn't before if maybe we had filmed here in the US. So It was cool. I hope it worked.
I'm sure that.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. We were like there. I'm just like, I'm not worthy. Oh my goodness, all these fantastic people, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
One time, another time, I think that was kind of interesting. We had a few cool outside scenes with like some fake snow, which was really fun and kind of keeping that because it's almost like a soapy sort of like slime consistency actually. So it would melt or it would get stuck or it would look too bubbly, so we'd have to stop and reset and fix the snow. Or we were walking in snowshoes and we had to make sure that we were in the right place. And of course, Kirk has this just incredible accent and voice, natural English, gorgeous accent. And, I was so embarrassed. I think one time I didn't slip into the accent. I didn't go full Madonna, but I think my kid would sometimes pick up his cadence of how he spoke, with his natural dialect. And Richard one time was like, something sounds weird. Let's take this back, but it was a great experience. It was a great experience working with all these new people who have a different experience in the business and a
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. And working with large ornate sets can be intimidating. Was there a particular corner of the manor that you loved performing in, and why?
Oh yeah. So we have this really great, yeah. We had this, I mean, the whole place was just decked out and it was gorgeous. I mean, we had this like large snow globe that was really fun. It was like it was like huge and I got to polish it and these nutcrackers and all these little, details. But my most favorite set was it was supposed to be our basement closet and it wasn't a basement and it had all these different Christmas decorations and all of these boxes with all these lots of fun things and we got to completely see it for the first time when we're shooting, so I got to actually in the moment react to the things I was finding, and I would show Kirk them and we would talk about them, and it was just very cute, and it was like, what are we going to find in these boxes? So that made it really fun and alive and a great time.
Amazing. And you said earlier that off camera that when you were filming this movie, were Halloween in real life, right?
Yes.
Can
So
we talk?
today, what's the question?
Can we talk about that?
Sure, sure.
Yeah,
Well, funny, right? Today is Halloween.
yeah.
But we're talking about Christmas. So we're all holidayed out. And it's so funny because exactly a year ago, we were filming in Bulgaria, in Sofia, right outside of Sofia, Bulgaria. And I was driving to set. And I saw all these amazing kids, dressed up and trick-or-treating. I mean, I would have loved to go trick-or-treating in Sofia, see if it was like a different experience. I mean, the food there and the candy there is amazing. But it was great to like see, everybody kind of, across the world getting down with the Halloween spirit, and as we were kind of going to play make believe as well, it was just like it was a great feeling. It was cool to see. It was an
Yeah.
experience.
Halloween is a festival that will expand on over the world, and it's in Italy too. So
Right? Yeah. What's like well, yeah. I mean, who doesn't like to play dress up, right? I mean,
yeah,
I opted to do it for a living and thank goodness I can because it's just fun, you know?
yeah, amazing. So, what do you hope uh, this film sits among the many modern holiday royal romances, and what would it like it to be remembered for?
Yeah. So what's really great, I mean, so what's really great about these is that these are my first, I think these are my first Christmas movies. And like I said, Saving the Christmas Ranch was actually done like a year and a half ago, but it just kind of, as luck would have it, end up being released, in the same month together. And so it feels really fun to kind of have like this season. And as an actor, Christmas movies, like it's kind of a bucket list thing. Everybody kind of wants one or two of them in their repertoire. And, there's always like so many fun opportunities with interviews. You know, I've been getting the most interview requests for this because people love Christmas. People love holidays, right? The Hallmark stuff, the UpTV. I mean, this got picked up, both movies got picked up in People magazine, which was, again, like a kind of benchmark for me, like some really great press. So I'm just grateful that Dave and the folks over at Nicely like trusted me with this, and Richard, to bring me over to Europe to do this and just having this incredible experience. I'll never forget it. It's my 2025 Christmas season.
It's amazing. And the last question, as always, for me. Can you share about your future projects a little bit?
Sure. So I'm actually starting to write,
Oh,
and produce some of my own projects, actually, which has been really, really fun to kind of think of. I got some thrillers and some rom-coms that I'm working on, and working with a few different producers, and yeah, hopefully we can see some of those in like the next year or two. I'll keep you updated. And there's one rom-com coming out, a really fun one called, I think it's called Rescue My Heart or Rescue the Heart, where I play an ER doctor that falls in love with her old high school friend, who's now the town hunky fireman, played by Mark. What's his last name? Mark, handsome Mark.
Mark, Mark
Yes,
Herman.
yes, Mark Herman. Sorry, Mark. Oh my God, lots of names. No, that was really, really fun, and that was actually also directed by Kevin, who directed Saving the Christmas Ranch. So yeah, we came back together on that one a few months ago, and it's editing. It's in editing right now, and I'm excited.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have some Christmas fun.
Yes.
I love the Christmas ones too because they're great for kids, and
Yeah.
a lot of my friends and my cousins have kids, and so for to share that with them is really fun and exciting, and to even watch them with my parents and my family. Everybody loves a holiday movie, so
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So this is it. Make sure all of you to coach Saving the Christmas Rent and A Royal Christmas Manor, both on UpTV next Sunday and Sunday, November 16th. And
yes,
yeah,
back to back, baby.
yeah. And
If,
thank you, Brianna, to
thank
join
you.
us today.
Thank you so much, Desiree, as always. And please, if you see a little clip in Italian, will you send me a little video?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Of course.
I would love that.
I'll
Okay.
try to find something.
Thank you. I would love that. My grandpa would be very proud of my Italian skills. All righty.
Thank
Thank you.
you all.
See you
And
soon, I
thank you
hope.
all for watching. Bye.
Happy Halloween.